Hi everyone, it's Rita and Teddy Bear from Miss Rita to the Rescue here for this morning's Cricut Chat. And we are going to be doing something with our Cricut Joy this morning. It's a project that can also be done with any other machine, and it's using Cricut Smart Vinyl, but also if you're using a different machine, you can use your regular vinyl. You can use the removable or the permanent. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting a little Thanksgiving blessing or saying onto this little cup. I got this for $3, so it's not exactly a dollar store project, but really kind of cute, and I think it would make a really nice, either like a little tiny, if you want to do a little floral design in there, put some fake flowers or some leaves or something, or just as something to put, you know, on your mantle or someplace as a design or a decorative design. And hey, there's nothing wrong with being thankful, right? So it's the kind of thing that could sit out all year if you wanted to, or it's perfect for Thanksgiving. So I have an extra one of these cups in green, and I have a couple of boxes of Smart Vinyl that I'm going to show you how to apply this to your to this mug. And then I'm also going to show you where I found this image and how I modified it, because it's part of a larger image. Okay, so before I get started, I wanted to say hello and good morning to all my friends, Christine, Dawn, Karen, Rhonda, and who else? Marissa. Oh no, that's okay, Marissa. You can live vicariously through my chats. Hi, Dorothy. Hi, Joe and Aledra. And Leilani and Susan, Jennifer, so many people on this morning. So this is a Cricut Joy project, but it doesn't have to be. It's perfect for the Joy, but also could be done on your Maker or your Explore. And it's very easy to modify this project to suit whatever it is that you have. So today I am going to use Smart Vinyl. It's great because it's suited for the Joy, and you don't need to have a mat when you're using it. And it's pretty simple. I actually got in a little bit late this morning. I had to bring my dog over to the vet, which is like there's like 2 cities over, and it was kind of a long thing, and I didn't have a whole lot of time, and so I just got back here maybe 10 minutes ago, and I've already gone ahead and cut this out, and I'm going to show you how to put it on. But first, let's talk about the graphic. I'm using my iPad here, but you do not need to use your iPad. Obviously, with your Joy, you can use your phone, you can use a laptop or a desktop. It doesn't matter. But the one thing that you need to make sure is that whatever you're using is attached by Bluetooth to your Joy, okay? And just in case you're just starting out with your Joy, let me show you how you would do that. You would go to your settings. See that? My settings. And I'm going to click on this Bluetooth and make sure that it's on. If it's off, you just turn this toggle switch on like this. And then once you've turned that toggle switch on, you've got to connect the Joy to your device. And you look for it in your list of devices. And you can see I have quite a few devices that are listed for Bluetooth, and none of them are connected. So I'm just going to locate the Joy and touch on it so that it will connect. Okay, so now it's connected. And then we're going to open up Cricut Design Space. Now I have this already on here. So what I'm going to do is I've already saved it. So I'm going to go home. This is what you would get if you open up Cricut Design Space. And I'm going to choose new project, okay? And so then I start and I have nothing on my screen. This is the canvas, and I want to go and look for the image that we are going to use. Now this image is part of a larger image, and I know this because I had this this image grouping well before we had the Joy, and even when we had cartridges. So what I need to do is, because the Joy only cut smaller images, and this is part of a large image, I'm going to change my setup here. I'm going to change it so that my machine selection is switched to my Maker. If you don't have a Maker, that's okay. If you're just working with a Joy, really all you're doing here is opening up the possibilities of larger images that otherwise wouldn't show up if you just had Joy selected. Okay, so I'm going to just change my machine selection to my Maker, or you can do Explore as well. It doesn't matter if you have or don't have those machines. Okay, it's just, this is just part of looking up the images. So we're going to go to images down here. And to look for this particular image, the Give Thanks image, or this Harvest Blessing image, I don't know if you can see that. We're going to go to highlighted categories. And from highlighted categories, we're going to choose image sets. Okay. Now this particular image set is called Word Collage. And so, whoops, I just dropped something. So I can either type in Word or Collage or one or the whole thing, Word Collage. But when you type in Word Collage, you'll come up with a number of sets. These are image sets, okay? And these are all image sets that have either the word word or collage in it. So these ones are word builders, and this one has Christmas collage, word. We're looking for this one, which is called just plain word collage. So I'm going to click on that. And it's going to show you about 50 different images that are what other people might call subway art. This is what they call word collage. And there are so many choices here, including stuff for Valentine's Day, stuff for Hanukkah, and also Christmas, things for interests such as coffee or animals, or perhaps you want to do something for paper crafts. All of these are in here. And for a long time when I looked at these, I thought all I could really do with that is to cut it out either in vinyl or whatever and use the entire image. But then I got to thinking that there are some parts of the image that I really like and other parts I like, but it was hard to cut this out and use the entire image. So I'm going to show you how to select and use only part of the image, okay? So this is the one we're working on today. It's the Thanksgiving one. So I'm going to touch on it, and I'm going to go down here and insert it. It comes in pretty small. So remember, if you're using your iPad, you can just like resize it by touching on it and pulling it this way or that way, whatever you'd like to do. I like my images kind of big when I'm working with them, and then I can always change the image later, okay? So this is all one image, and that is important because when you're doing what I'm going to do next, it's important that the image is all one, just kind of a straight image. What we're going to do is we're going to use something called contour. Contour is a way for us to remove all of these other things we don't want. And maybe we just want give thanks, or maybe we want harvest blessings. So I'm going to show you how to contour out all of this other stuff. Thanksgiving, pilgrims, cornucopia, parade, all of that. So here's our image. And what we're going to do is we are going to go to actions. You see that? this is down here, actions. This is slightly different than if you were working on your laptop or your desktop. And so it's a different action, but it doesn't require that you hit actions. It would just be contour, which would be on the bottom right hand side of your canvas. Okay, but this one here, we have to hit actions, and we're going to choose hide contour. Okay, and then what it brings up is my entire image. Now, this is slightly different if you've ever used contours on your desktop, because contours on your desktop is allows you to hide all of the contours, okay? So you cannot do that here, but what you can do is use your finger to get rid of or to hide the contours you do not want. So we decided we're going to keep harvest blessings and give thanks. So how do we do this? Well, thankfully we have this pinch to zoom, and we can start at the top, and we can sort of pinch to zoom in, and then all we have to do is press on these little letters, the ones that we want to get rid of or hide. I shouldn't say get rid of, because they're just hiding. Now, what you need to be careful of is the inside of letters like this A, and sometimes those are a little difficult to touch on, so I pinch it really large, okay? And then go through, and you will see, I'm just going to back up a little bit. You see, I've already taken the thanks G out of there, and I'm going to just keep going, and as I do that, you'll see that these are disappearing, which is really good. Right? That's exactly what we want. So we're just going to, and this does take a little bit of time on your laptop. It's a very quick procedure, but on the iPad, it's a little bit more work. That's okay. We can do that for the end result, okay? Now remember, the insides of letters need to be removed as well. We don't want to see any of these. Teddy bear, be quiet now. All right, so you see how they're kind of getting removed now. I'll just show you this. If I left this in there, that's going to show up. We don't want that. So we need to make sure the insides of the letters, or in this particular case, all of these loopies right here. So for instance, if I removed that F, but I didn't take out the loop, it's still going to show. And so what I have to do, make sure I pinch to zoom and get rid of that, and then it disappears. Okay, so we're just going to go through this and do this for all of the pieces we don't want. Remember, we want simply the harvest blessings, and we also want the give thanks. And this does take a few seconds, so be patient with yourself. Now, if you think you made a mistake, so easy to correct. For instance, if you wanted that D there, just click on it. Or if perhaps you couldn't get the inside out, just keep pinching it like this until you get close enough so that your finger would work. This would also work for if you had like an iPad pencil, and it's really kind of, I think I have pretty chubby fingers, so I think that I'm going to need to get one of those pencils to try out and see if that will help me, because sometimes I just cannot get those insides or the little pieces when I use my fingers. I don't know if you guys have the same, but so I'm just working on, I got turkey dinner I've got to remove or hide, and look at the different pieces. Remember the inside of the R, and let's see, the inside of the D needs to go, and I'm going to go through, and I know this is a lot, but be patient with yourself, because the end result is really fun. So see, I'm getting there. I did about, I don't know, a third of it, and we're going to keep harvest blessings. So I'm going to remove the autumn. I have to get that A part in this. When they're connected, it's so much easier, but that's okay. We'll just keep moving along. Now, again, remember, you can do this on your desktop, and you can do it on your mobile device. and then also on your laptop. So I kind of like the pinching part, but I miss the like hide all contours. It does have show all contours, which I'm not going to touch because it would bring me back to all of the ones that I've already eliminated. Okay, so let me just be patient with myself and just remove pumpkin. And if you are, you get a little confused, you can always just go back here and see where you're at. So I still have the give thanks and the harvest blessings, but I got to take off this fall and the kin pie and gobble gobble. So you just keep going back and forth, hide contours, and let's see, we don't need fall, but we need that leaf. So I'm going to leave that kin, and we don't need pie. Well, we all need pie. Okay, so let's just do the gobble. I think we might be done. Now, I'm going to show you another little trick. Gobble, gobble, in just a second. So I think I'm almost done here. Let me, L-E. Let me just to get rid of these B's. Let's see how we're doing. Okay, so now I have these two sayings, but I want to cut them out separately. And if we were able to cut these out right now, which we could, they would come out together. But the thing is that I'm cutting with my Joy and I'm using smart vinyl. And if I cut this out together, then I'm limited to the width, right? And we can only go as big as 4.25. So that could cause problems. And let me just show you, as far as if you went to edit, you see here that the height is 9.47. That's not going to work. I'm going to have a problem with cutting this on the Joy because it's together. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go to Actions and I'm going to duplicate this. And I am going to then go into each one of these and contour out one, and then over here, the other. So this is my first one, and I'm going to then go to hide contours again. And this time, I'm just going to get rid of the harvest blessings. I might have to go, I do have to go in there and get rid of some of these smaller contours here and here. Whoops. It's not exactly super precise sometimes when you're using your fingers, but it works. Make sure you get that dot and the inside of this A or any other letters. And so we come back here and all of a sudden now I just have the give thanks. I have contoured out the harvest blessing. But up here on this one, I want to contour out the give thanks so that I can have harvest blessings. And I can have this separate. That's what I'm trying to do. So now we're here and we want to, wait, I want to just check and see which one that I have give thanks, so I need to contour out harvest blessings. So hide contour. And now I'm going to go to give thanks and I'm going to contour out the give thanks. You guys with me? I hope you are, because it's really not that, it's not as complicated as when we were doing the contouring for those layered cards. And it works out really well and you don't have to start from scratch. Okay, so now I have our two different, and see they move separately, which is good. Why is this? Okay, which is good because now when I go to cut it, if it's too big, let's see, before I go to cut it, I'm going to go back and change my machine to the Joy, okay? And I want to show you what it looks like when I hit make it without the mat. Now you'll see here, now they're separate. This would not have been able to happen if they were still together, okay? But still, I think these are a little bit too big for the application that I want to do. When I originally cut this out, I made it so that it was about this size here. And when I measured my mug, this is what I did to measure it on my little thing here. So 1, 2, 3, it's about 3 inches tall. And when you check here to here, it's 17 to 9, it's about 8 inches around. Okay, so I particularly don't want it to be over the 3 inches. So when we go back to the canvas and we check, let's go to edit, you can see that the height is 3.63. It's a little too big for this application. So I'm going to make it actually a little bit small. Plus look at the width, 13.5. Too big for what I'm doing. So I'm going to just make it smaller. And the same holds true for the give thanks. Just make it a little bit smaller. And if you want to pinch in to kind of see it, that doesn't change the size, but see how I'm making it smaller here on the width. And I can do that by touching on this or this, you see? So if I made the height just 2, it changes the width to 7.43, which actually is cutting it kind of close. So I think I might reduce the height a little bit to maybe 1 3/4 inches. That might be better. Okay, so that's now 6 inches wide. So the width is this way, and 1 1/4 inches tall. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing for this one here, and I'm just going to change the height to 1.75. Okay, now remember, you can pinch and zoom like this, and it doesn't change the size of your image. Okay, and I just want to, whoops, I wasn't scrolling comments. Oh, you got snow, Bren? Awesome. I love snow. Thanks, Babs. My nails, they were a gift from my sister. Okay, so here are 2 images that we want to cut out. Now I'm going to go and hit make it. Remember, I changed my machine to the Joy. I hit make it. I'm going to choose smart material, so without matte. And now that I have resized these are actually going to cut out on top of each other and fit on just a small piece of vinyl. Now, if you wanted to cut out 2, I always cut out 2 of everything. It's just my way. But if you wanted to cut out 2, let me just show you, in case you maybe got a pair of these, you would go up here to this little square that's supposed to be a mat, and you would then choose project copies, and it is listed as 1. But if I wanted to change it to 2, I can do that. So I want to go ahead and do that. And when I do, because I'm working without the mat, I don't have to worry about changing the size of my mat, which I normally have to do otherwise. So now I have 2 that are going to be cut out. And by the way, you can still move these around. You just click on them and move them this way, right? Now, what you want to avoid is any kind of overlap. And the software will tell you if there is an overlap by turning it yellow. You see that? That's overlapping. So I just want to click on one of those images and make them not overlap. You see? Okay, so now I'm ready. I have my 2 sets of images that are ready to be cut out in Smart Vinyl on my Joy. So I'm going to hit continue. And I'm going to get my Joy ready. Really, the only thing I need to do, because I keep it plugged in, is open it up and decide which color I want to do. So I think that I would like to do, for the green, I think I'd like to do this a cranberry color, although this would look good too. And if I wanted to, say, do 1 of each, which I think I will do, is I just need to go back need to go back and do, let's see, I have to cancel and go back here, and I'm going to change my project copies to 1, so that way I can do one of each color. All right, so here is my Harvest Blessings and my Give Thanks, which I'm going to just spread out a little bit, and then I'm going to hit continue. And what I'll do is I'll put in one color first, and then I'll put in another color and recut it. So I'm going to choose Smart Vinyl, and this is removable, right? And now it's telling me I need to make sure my blade is in there, which this is the blade and housing on your Joy. It's rather small if you're used to working with the larger machines, but this probably should always just stay in your machine anyway. You will take it out if you want to use a pen in there, okay? And it simply closes like this, very easy. Now all I need to do is choose my vinyl. So let's start with the linen. I think this is linen color. Cream, they call it cream. So I'm going to start with this. And I've already used it, but that's okay. I got plenty in there, and I'm just going to load it without a mat underneath these guides, okay? And what the machine does is it goes through and makes sure that I have enough vinyl. So you don't have to worry about measuring and all of that. The machine will do it for you. And if you don't have enough in there, and I've done this with smaller pieces, and it's very precise, okay? So you don't have to worry about having this really super long cut and then it cutting off, you know, one of the letters. You don't have to worry about that at all. So it's all ready to go. I have put in my fine point blade and my Smart Vinyl, and I'm just going to hit go. And let me just move this out of the way and then hit go. So it will go ahead and do my cream vinyl, which seems to attract a lot of lint, but it's still beautiful stuff. Now, in addition to the vinyl, the Joy, and the software, you are going to need some transfer tape, and the Joy does have its own transfer tape. I tend to reuse my transfer tape, so I have a bunch of it sort of hanging here from the last time I used the Joy, and so I have a lot of it just sort of hanging here, and I'm going to use that. But if you don't, you can buy it in a box that's transfer tape. Personally, I buy it in a larger size and cut it down when I do Joy things, just simply because I think it's a better deal. Now, this Smart Vinyl did come from Michaels, and these colors, I don't know if they were discontinued or whatever, but at the time I did get them on sale. And I will tell you that there is a giant sale, and I'm not trying to be a salesman, but there is a giant sale going on if you're a Cricut Access customer. And if you go there, you'll get 50% off materials. Plus, if you're a premium member, get an additional 20% and then a 10% off if you use my code. So, so just so that you know. And it's almost done. How do I know that? Well, there's a circle here, and it says that it's sort of like a pie chart, and it's telling me it's almost done, which is great. And then remember, I'm going to get this ready for when we have to, when I want to put this back in. Just take it out of the box. I keep my vinyl in the box just because it seems to me so much easier. My other vinyl I don't necessarily keep in the roll, but if you're working with the Joy, that's the one thing I really do love about the Joy is that it's small and very, very portable. So I could use this in my kitchen, which I did the first month while I cooked. And you have to be a Cricut Access member. Okay, so it's done for that sale, Teresa. I'll talk about that, Kathy, in just a second, okay? So I'm going to unload this, right? Just like that, and it takes it all out. But I want to cut this again with this, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit continue again and put this in and choose Smart Vinyl. It's checking, getting ready to make sure I have enough on there. And let me just show you what I'm doing here. I'm going to hit go. Hi, Rosalind. How are you? Okay, so it's going to cut this now in our second color. I'm going to move it away because you've already seen it cut, okay? So here is our cream colored cut. And you see I have a lot of this left over. So what I'm going to do is just take my scissors and cut right along here at the end of this cut. Take this and put it back in the box so I can use it for next time. Right? And while it's working on the cutting, then I'll talk to you about weeding. And I'm going to move down here. Okay, so you can't really see it, although it's lifted right here. But you're going to be, I'm going to wait until the cranberry color comes out. But here are our two cutouts. Now, it might be useful to cut these in half or cut them so you're only removing one at a time. I think I'll do that for this one. And also know that there are a lot of squigglies, and so you've got to be very careful when you're pulling up the vinyl on places like this B or some of these. And it doesn't hurt if you press down on it a little bit and make sure that all those pieces are really good and on there. So then I'm going to take a weeding tool and I'm going to start at the corner. You can start anywhere. I usually start top left. And then once I get the first little corner removed, I start to remove the vinyl, and I make sure that I do it sort of on an angle like this, because I still want my letters that I cut out on there, and I'm just removing the negative space. And you can do the insides while you're doing this if you want, or you can do it when you're done. I think people who work with vinyl probably do it at the same time, but you can always go back. So here we go. I'm doing the Harvest Blessings, and I have to get the A out of there. It's coming along nicely. Oop, but look at that G kind of came up, so I need to make sure that it's really fastened down on there. And here we go. So there's my cut, my Harvest Blessings cut. And now my my cranberry color is done. So I'm just going to unload it from my machine. Sorry, I've got vinyl stuck to my fingers. Okay, so here's the cranberry one. I'm just cutting it where it ends, right here. And then rolling this back up and putting it into the box so I can keep it for another use. All right, put it back in the box. For what it's worth, I open the boxes on the bottom because I like to see the color where I put this, and the bottom doesn't show the color, the top does, and it just looks better that way. Okay, so here's the cranberry one. Again, we're going to cut it in half, and I think what we'll do is we'll do the give thanks on the cranberry one, and then later on I'll go back and do the others. Okay, so here's the give thanks one. Whoa. Oh, goodness. Look at that. So I have a little issue of part of the letter came up, and it's on my finger. So I'm going to go back. I need to move this ever so slightly. I'll try to keep it in camera, but I need to go and put this back. It's so tiny that you might have to do a little surgery, as I would normally say. You have to do a little surgery, and I'm putting that back. You see that? And I just need to take a moment. Sorry if I'm not in camera. Just need to take a moment to get that piece back in there. And it's sort of back in there. And this can happen. I wouldn't consider this being completely ruined because of it, but I need to work around it to make sure that it stays there. You see that? I just want to move it just ever so slightly. All right. Okay. So because of that, I need to be very careful. Tweezers would work, definitely. I just don't have them nearby. So we're going to start at that corner and we're going to start peeling off. And we have to worry about this little piece. You might have to use, I hate it when it gets stuck on my fingers. But we might have to use that little piece and make sure that it comes off. Yeah, it did. It is such a tiny, tiny margin over there, but I'm going to show you that when we get done. So here's my give. I've gotten past that point. So, now look at that. There's my T and the H, but it's good because it's lifted, but I did get it free from that piece. That's okay. You know, look at this it's not a science, it's an art form. So you need to learn how to work with issues like this. So here's my T and my H, which is kind of lifted. I'm actually going to move it over and take out this part. And then I'm going to slowly, I can take out this part too. Come on out. There we go. Now I can slowly put this piece back on. Don't get frustrated with yourself. This happens to everyone, including me or any other person that might do this on a regular basis. It's okay. It happens. All right. So I am just, and you know what, I will point out that you'll see some cut marks down here, and that will show you and help you about placement. So here I am putting that on there and making sure that that placement is correct. Just need to move this ever so slightly to the right. Here we go. And take your time. All right, so that looks good. I'm just going to take the A out from in here. I got to work on the E and then this G. And then remember our little problematic G, the swirly part of that. So again, and if I did have tweezers, tweezers would be perfect for this application, for this problem. But I don't. And so I'm just going to work with this and use my pick, and here we go. That seems to be fixing the problem. Make sure that it's up here. Okay, that to me looks pretty darn good. Might do this, move over. Okay, here we go. All right, so there it is. You talk to your vinyls. Yes, and so let's just tell people, especially people who are new, that sometimes things like very skinny letters can be problematic, or things that have a lot of things to weed can be problematic. It doesn't matter what machine you use, and sometimes it really doesn't matter the material that you use, because this is a smart material. It's just problematic, and you need to show some patience. So here is our other one, which didn't give us any problems, and here is this one. And I just noticed I forgot to take this little teeny part of the B out. Okay, and that is how, what we call weeding, and that's how weeding is done. So be very patient with yourself. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of transfer tape, And again, as I said, transfer tape comes on a roll. There is Joy transfer tape, but personally, I just buy the bigger roll, the 12 by 12 roll, and I use that instead. And I do reuse my transfer tape. It makes it so much more cost effective. So here it's actually a little bit bigger than what I need, but that's okay. I can cut it or I can leave it there if I want, but I'm going to cut it. I put it over my design. And this is left over. I'm going to use for another purpose. All right, so there is my design with the transfer tape. One really important thing, especially because we have skinny letters, is we're going to burnish it. Now remember this thing we used for scraping our mats, and we also used it to condition leaves for 3D flowers. This is really important to use, but if you don't have one, use like a credit card or anything really that will get in there and make sure that every one of those letters is pushed down onto my transfer tape. It's going to make it so much easier when I go to lift it, okay? All right, so I've done that, and now I'm going to turn it over. This is how I do it, but you may do it differently, but this is how I do it. I get it started, and then I turn it over, holding the transfer tape. You see that? With my fingers, and then I'm going to peel off, and you see here, this little part is not peeling off. So what I can do is turn it back over and just burnish it a little bit more, or I could use my fingers to start to get it started, okay? But here we go. Nope, it's not coming up. So again, we can use the burnishing, or we can use my little pick here and get it onto the transfer tape. All right. Oops. And again, I don't mind showing you all these little foibles because it's just going to give you more confidence that you can do this, and that it's not all neat and easy as sometimes is shown by some of the other folks online. But anyway, so look at here. There's the I for blessings. I need to make sure that that dot is going to remove. Let's go back and sort of burnish it to make sure it's on. And there it is. Okay. And so when you're removing the backing onto the transfer tape, don't try to go fast, like ripping off a Band-Aid, because that is where you're going to have problems and you are going to get frustrated, and you're going to have to cut it out again if you try to go too fast. Here we go. I'm almost done here. Harvest. Come on. This is my G, I believe. B. Blessings. G. I think it's a G. It's upside down. Okay. So here we go. All right. Almost done. Stick with me. All right. We're done. Okay? Yeah, I do think the backing for the Joy is rather stiff, and it does take a little bit of practice to work with it. That's not the case if you're using regular vinyl. And do know that you can also use the regular vinyl with the Joy. You just need to cut it down, and you need to put it on a mat. So if you happen to end up, like if you got a mystery box and you have a Joy, don't feel like you can't use all the stuff that's in the mystery box. You can. It's just you need to cut it down and you won't be able to use it on without the mat. Now, I have a dog, right? You guys know that. I have 2 dogs. And one of the things that I always have to deal with is hair. And so I see that I've got a Benji or a teddy bear hair in here. So I always inspect my work for things like that. If you don't have an animal, then, you know, or you figured out a way to keep that animal hair from floating around your life, then you don't have to worry about this step, but I do. So here, do you see that? It's a dog hair. And again, this is where tweezers would be awesome, but I don't have them nearby. Here we go. All right, so no dog hair now. All right, and I'm ready to put it on my cup. Now I'm going to turn it sideways, and I think I would like it so that it's in the middle and it sort of wraps around the cup. I suppose I could also put it here, but I'm going to put it there like this, I think, and then I'm going to fill my cup with like flowers and stuff like that. Okay, and so I'm going to hold it against the cup and take the middle part. I'm going to try to turn it so you can see what I'm doing. Doing it this way, probably the easiest way to line it up, but I want to show you how it goes. So I started in the middle and then press on either side, okay? And yeah, this is metal. So this would not go in, let's see, it does not go in the dishwasher or the microwave. So if you're going to use it actually as a cup, which I don't know, gentle hand wash, not recommended for stove use, okay? But if you were going to put it in the dishwasher, only put it on the top rack. And I would never recommend putting a cup that has vinyl. It doesn't matter if it's permanent or removable, but I would never recommend putting a cup that has vinyl in the microwave. But it's safe for, you know, like hot coffee or cold drinks or something like that. All right, so now I have it on there where I'm not quite done, okay? And I am using my fingers, but I can also use this. And what I'm going to do is I have to take off this transfer tape. Don't leave your transfer tape on there. That's the surest sign of a rookie mistake, okay? So then we're going to go and just maybe just sort of brandish it because I want to take off the transfer tape and leave my design. I just cut whatever visual and pretend it's not there. I don't know what that means. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to remove that transfer tape, and I do that by rolling, sort of the way that I removed the negative space. But here I am just removing so that I know that the entire design is going to stay on my cup. And it is. There we go. Now, I would recommend that you sort of press and make sure, especially with all these little pieces, press and make sure all that vinyl is adhered. And I will also tell you that it does take a little bit of, I don't know, I'd call it ripening or dry. It's not really drying, but it takes it. The adhesive needs to sort of adhere all the way. So I wouldn't go ahead and use this right away. If I were going to use it for drinking from, I would use it, I would probably let it sit for 24 hours, just simply because that adhesive is still pretty sticky, and you might want to, especially if you're going to give it away or something like that. Okay, so this mug came from Target. It was $3, so not a cure. Thank you, Susan, curing. Okay. It came from Target. It's a 17.6 fluid ounce metal with the spackle on it. And I think it would look really good. I don't know that I would necessarily drink from it, but maybe some people would. And I thought I would put some like of that green foam in there and put some flowers there, but that is this. And just to answer the question about access, because I said I would, there are two different types of Cricut Access. One is called Premium. That is the year. You pay by the year, not the month, okay? And it's a little bit more than the monthly one, but you get 20% off of your materials on Cricut.com, so it might be worth it for you. I know it was worth it for me. And then the other one is called just Cricut Access, I don't know, Standard or something. So it's Premium and Standards, and this, that's the difference with it. You're going to save. The only real difference there is you're going to save more when you buy materials. Okay, so there is our project, which is a beautiful spackleware mug done with smart vinyl and the Cricut Joy. Thank you all. Oh, I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Thank you all for staying with me and seeing all my little bumps in the road. This is a very easy project and one you could easily accomplish, and just finding the, whatever you want to use for a cup, or you could also do this on a plate, although I would not eat off of the plate, by the way. And we will continue to work with our Joy, but remember, you can do this on your other machines as well. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll see you again tomorrow at 9 o'clock here on Facebook for Cricut Chat. I really am so thankful for you, and I'm so glad that you could join me. Hope to see you again really soon. Thanks, Aledra. All right, everyone. Take care. Bye.